This is Omar for BoxNation in association with Global Next Trade. I'm joined by the Gad. Can I call you the Gad?
No, you never call me the Gad.
No, that's what Carl Froch calls you, doesn't he?
I was in his quarter-final knobhead competition,
I did see that.
beaten by Eddie Hearn.
Uh,
I don't know. Carl was out there in Riyadh. I was at the Canelo Crawford press conference. Carl was out there in Riyadh and obviously interviewing Canelo and asking him if who would win out of them. I think it's a clear Canelo win, that one, Froch and Canelo. And what a fight though. What a fight that would be. I think Carl's been a bit unkind going in on AJ because I think AJ's got 2 or 3 fights left and so much money for him to earn as well that he's not going to say no to it. He's still got an appetite for it, but I think he's been very unfair to Anthony Joshua. But it's Carl's shtick, isn't it? So that's the way he
what
rolls.
specifically do you think was unfair?
Well, just saying that he should hang up his gloves. If Carl was still around now and there were big fights on offer, he would take them, in my view. And also, you think about how close the relationship with Eddie Hearn and Carl Froch was, and what happened in the resurgent part of Carl's career at the very end with Eddie. I'm surprised that there isn't more love between the two men, frankly. You know,
He's got run his YouTube channel nowadays, though, so that's the game he's in.
that's the game that he's in, and it's Froch on fighting, and he lets rip the whole time, doesn't he?
Anyways, Gareth, just moving on from there. Want to start off with Oleksandr Usyk. Kind of a bit of a shock. We heard yesterday that he'd split with his promoter Alex Krassyuk. They had an incredible journey, though. So, and I didn't really see this coming. And obviously, it's only 4 weeks till the undisputed rematch with Daniel Dubois. So it was a bit of a weird time to announce it to go through with the split. What did you think about it?
um, well, yes, I did think it was a certain shock in some ways because they've been together so long, and you're used to them being together, and you're used to Krassyuk. But he delivers great lines for Alexander Usyk when his language in English is not there for him to be able to elucidate things. But and it's been a very powerful relationship for a long time. And as we all know, Krassyuk's a great guy to deal with, both in the media and around events, and it gives his time. What I read straight away into it is it's a sign that Usyk is very close to the end, and that I think people start to count the beans a little bit on who they're paying and what they're getting out of it for certain events, and maybe that saves him a few million. And for me, my reading of it, and I may be wrong, but my reading of it is this could be the end with Alexander Usyk if he beats Daniel Dubois. I'm not sure that he wants to carry on too much longer, and why should he? He's beaten Joshua twice. He's beaten Fury twice. He'll have beaten Daniel Dubois twice. Does he really want to stay around and fight Parker and fight Ajit Kabayel? That may be in his mind at the moment. That's what I read, because there've been comments from Krassyuk saying it's been a great journey. I've been blessed to be with him along the way on the journey. It doesn't seem to be anything in terms of a reason for a fallout, other than maybe he's just looking at the numbers, Usyk, looking at the numbers of what he's earning.
Yeah. Do you think that could be like obviously we're speculating here, but do you think highly likely that is the only reason they've split just so Usyk does save himself a couple of million quid?
Yeah, that was my immediate reading of it. That's instinctively what I thought straight away. More could come out. They might have fallen out over something, I don't know, but it's not likely because they get on so well. People will say, "Oh, is that disloyal of the fighter?" But this is a money business as well, and I think when people come towards the end, they are looking at the beans.
Okay. Every time we seem to approach an Alexander Usyk fight, specifically at heavyweight, I don't really remember it happening at cruiserweight, but specifically at heavyweight, we always think, oh, do you know what? Fury might be too big for him. Joshua might be too powerful for him in the rematch. That's going to start happening in the Daniel Dubois rematch as we approach it. Is Usyk aging? You can age overnight. Daniel Dubois is obviously on an incredible run. Could this be perfect timing for Daniel? So, having factored all that in, and the fact that Usyk's delivered every time we've questioned him, how much of a genuine chance do you actually give Daniel Dubois?
Well, all those reasons you give are very resonant for this fight. You know, they are all the underlying subcurrents for this fight. Yes, Daniel Dubois is more dangerous than he was. Yes, he's probably the most dangerous puncher in the heavyweight division. I went into camp with him recently up on the farm, and I was very impressed with him when I sat down. He's more open than I've ever known him before. Happier, a very happy fighter. And if he's happy, he's dangerous. I think Usyk, as you say, was 31 in January. Sorry, 38 in January.
31.
38. He'd be happy to be 31,
Yeah.
38 in January. So you ride all the factors at the moment, disregarding what happened in the first fight, that Usyk dominated on points, obviously, and stopped Daniel, I think it was in the 9th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Having been felled by what I consider to be a borderline low blow as well in the 5th round. There are many factors which would indicate that Dubois will be dangerous early in this fight. He will go for it. There's no doubt about it. As I say, I was very impressed being around him. Don Charles is great for him. There's a maturity about Daniel Dubois we've not seen before. He carried the promotion brilliantly against Anthony Joshua last September and delivered on the night in droves. I think he's dangerous early in this fight. He's dangerous for 5 rounds again. If Usyk ages overnight, he could get beaten up in the fight. You can't rule anything out in this fight. He could drop Usyk early, but Usyk refuses to give up and Dubois wins on points. You don't know what's going to happen. It's not the most likely outcome, Dubois winning on points, but I think Usyk still wins this if he's on the kind of form and the kind of skill level and ring generalship that he's shown so far in his career. Obviously undefeated as a cruiserweight, undefeated as a heavyweight, top 10 pound for pound pantheon in my view in the heavyweight division of all time. I think he's produced incredible results since winning Olympic gold as well. But I think Dubois will be dangerous for 5 rounds. That's my reading of it.
Okay, sticking with the heavyweights. I haven't spoke to you since it was announced for August 16th. Moses and Dillian will top the bill in Riyadh. So I saw Derek's comments to Derek Chisora on TalkSport over the weekend.
To me, that was to me and Spencer. Yeah.
He was very strong about what's going to happen in this fight, i.e. a very easy stoppage win for Moses Itauma. Do you see where he's coming from? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it?
Well, Derek was offered 2 million to fight him, as he revealed on the show, and to fight Moses. And he was like, no way am I fighting Moses. He thought Moses was 27, didn't realize he was 20. He said it shouldn't be allowed. I mean, I'm not sure whether he called it murder, but, in inverted commas, he doesn't mean that literally. He thinks it's a very, very dangerous fight for Dillian Whyte, and I agree. I think there's 2 things for Dillian here. A big payday. I imagine he's being paid very well. If Derek was offered 2 million, probably you can assume and read into that Dillian will be earning about the same kind of money. It's great money. There's an opportunity here because Moses is number 1 with the WBO right now. I make Moses my number 10 in the world at the moment, by the way, with Fabio at 7, and the others just fall into place. It's a very dangerous fight for Dillian Whyte. Could be a career-ending fight because Moses' hand speed, his movement, his confidence, his icy coolness. I think he gets the job done in the first 5 rounds. Maybe even sooner. And I'm not saying that to disrespect Dillian. I just think Moses is potentially a generational talent, and he's very, very dangerous to fight, particularly because of his hand speed and his youth.
Okay. Dave Allen has confirmed that he's been approached to fight Joseph Parker. I don't know how far talks have gone or whether that fight's going to happen, but that's just what Dave Allen said publicly. Bit of a random fight, I must admit. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm hearing that as well behind the scenes, that there are talks. Obviously, there were talks about Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora behind the scenes. There were talks about Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte behind the scenes that were moving. I think Dave Allen against Joseph Parker is a very tough fight for Dave Allen. Joseph Parker's sailing high at the moment. If you discount Tyson Fury in the rankings at the moment, even though the WBC have said that they will always be ranked number one. Don't know how long that is. Number one in recess, maybe we call it, with Mauricio Suleiman, and the WBC. I think you've got to look at what they need to do for Joseph Parker. Obviously, promoted and managed by Frank Warren and Spencer Brown. They need to keep him active.
It's just a
They
tick
need
over fight then, really.
I mean, I don't want to be rude about Dave Allen because he's just got a massive victory and a fan favourite victory over Johnny Fisher. But it was a victory over Johnny Fisher. He was also calling out for a fight with Deontay Wilder as well. But I think it's a good fight for Dave Allen in terms of profile and probably what they learned from it. But I don't think it's a great fight for him against a very big Joseph Parker, who's looked fantastic in the last 20 odd months under Andy Lee.
Okay. Last thing I wanted to talk to you about is this situation, if you can call it a situation, between Vidal Riley and Aloys Jr. So they offered the fight in terms of Queensbury and Riyadh for the August 16th date. It was a big payday, according to them, for Vidal. Vidal had said, has said subsequently from that, I made it very clear that I'm only going to be ready for September. I'm going to fight in September. I'm guessing he's targeting that Eubank Ben 2 date, and he wants to be out on that. Do you think anyone's ducking anyone? What do you think of this situation between Vidal and
No,
Alex?
I think Vidal Riley knows his own mind. You know about the staging of his career that he's been very careful about how he's curated it, and he's been very successful. I'm a big fan of, not fan, but I'm a big advocate of what Vidal Riley's done so far in his career, and I love Aloys Jr. as well as a fighter. It's a fantastic matchup. It's a mouth-watering prospect. I think Aloys is very dangerous in that fight, but Vidal Riley has shown against Chev Clark and others that he's very adept in his moments in the ring. I do get it. He was in the studio with me recently in Talk Sport for half an hour, and it was great to catch up with him. He brought his British belt in. I think I understand him not wanting to be rushed into the fight in August. I think it's simply that. I think the fight will happen. The back and forths are really great between the two of them. It's going to be a great fight. It's one of those that you cannot not look forward to. I
Do you
think
have a
August.
favourite in the fight or not?
Well, I've said to Vidal, I think Aloys is very dangerous for him. Um, when I see the silhouettes moving, I could see Aloys hurting Vidal Riley. Aloys is very dangerous, but he's very young in his career as well. And I think we saw against Chev Clark that Vidal is a very smart mover and a very clever boxer. So it's a 50-50 right now for me. Vidal won't thank me for that because he's slightly more experienced than Aloys, but Aloys has this energy about him that is frightening. And obviously we know he's got incredible punch power. He showed more adept skills in his last outing, using the jab more, not just being a brawler, not going in and planting his feet and loading up. As I say, this is a great time in boxing when we've got all these exciting matchups. And, without forgetting to say this, obviously Deontay Wilder fights this weekend, and I'm looking forward to him fighting because if he wins against Tyrell Herndon and looks good, maybe we've got a fight for Anthony Joshua in the autumn, a fight that we've wanted to see for 7 years.
Okay, Gareth A Davies, thank you very much for your time, and
Can I just also say
on.
I'm really looking forward to Adelaide and Hrgovic as well.
Yeah,
I mean, because Jamie TKV was in the studio with me on Saturday night at Talksport on Fight Night, and even though Jamie's disappointed that he's not fighting Adelaide in the rematch, he gets it. There's talk of him and Dave Allen as well, isn't there? Potentially. So there's a lot of movement around at the moment, but I really like that fight for Adelaide against Hrgovic. That's a brilliant card, by the way. It's one that's going to really deliver in droves. Ball, Goodman, all these guys on the card. It's brilliant stuff.
Ford is a great fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant fight.
Okay, G, thank you very much for your time, and we shall speak soon.
You're welcome.